Hi, and welcome to the Warrior Pose tutorial. So today's tutorial will focus on Warrior 1, 2, and 3 and how to enter them from Mountain Pose and Downward Facing Dog. I'll also provide you with a few modifications to make it more suitable for you. So the first way we'll begin is in Mountain Pose. So Tadasana is with your feet right underneath your hip bones. So a lot of people, especially women, we think our hips are out here. Maybe the beautiful curves are, but right where the hip bone juts out, that's where your toes typically are. If you prefer to take a more Ashtanga pose, you can let the toes come together with the outside of the feet parallel to the mat. So just the toes are touching. That might feel a little pigeon-toed to you. Or you can take Tadasana hip bone distance apart. So either way, toes face forward if that feels very comfortable for you. You also want to feel firm, strong beneath your feet. So pressing into the outside corners of the ball, so the outside and the inside, and of the heel, outside and inside. Toes are pretty light. So beginning there, pulling up, the tailbone is down, the pelvis is neutral, belly is in. Shoulders are relaxed, ears are back over the shoulders. So standing here in mountain pose, just connecting with the ground. Pressing into the right leg, moving the left leg up, and then step it back. About 3 or 4 feet. You can play around with the space in between your legs, depending on where you are today. So Warrior 1 is the first one. Your front leg is still straight forward. So my right leg is straight forward and my back toes are about 45 degrees outward. Again, that's something that you can kind of play with. You don't want to push it too far out because you want the knee to be in line with the toes always. The same situation here. So I'm stepping back for Warrior 1. My hips are still forward. Warrior 1 hips are closed, as we say. They're forward over the right toes and the knee is over the ankle. So you don't want that line to cross. You don't want the right knee to cross over the ankle, go past. You want it to be parallel or even a little back. Always protect the joints. Really pressing into both feet, again, connecting to the outside corners and the inside corners, especially the outside of that left foot. Tailbone is down. A lot of times we kind of arch our back. Pull the belly in, just like you did in Tadasana. Tailbone down, and then reach the arms up. Shoulders are relaxed, but you're reaching all the way through the fingertips. A lot of times in Warrior, we're so concerned with the lower part of the body, we forget the upper part and we let everything relax. Really let the energy go from the feet all the way through the strong legs, all the way up. All right, and take several breaths there. So it'll be the same thing, the opposite leg. You would bend the right knee forward, step back, arms up, tailbone down, belly in, press into the outside of that right foot. Sometimes that has a tendency to come up. So I like to remind to press there, breathe, hands reaching, and then coming back forward. So that's Warrior 1. The hips again are closed, they're forward. A modification you can take is to not step as far back. So the feet are closer together and the hips are forward. Here's Warrior 1 modification. The hands can either be touching or apart. And the same thing on this side. You don't have to step as far back. Both legs are still working. Everything else is the exact same. You're just not as deep in the pose. So Warrior 2. You step back the same distance. And this time, instead of the hips being closed, they're open to the side. So the hips are open. That right knee stays stacked over the toes. You want to make sure that is straight forward, not pigeon-toed. And the knee always stays in line with the toe. So that knee is open, the hips are open, and the arms are out, shoulders are down. Again, engaging all the way through the fingertips. And the gaze is over that right middle finger. So even here, the tailbone, again, is straight down. A lot of times it can cock backwards. I'm going to push it down. Keep opening that knee. And that's warrior two. And then come back to the top. And then you would step back in your warrior two on the opposite side. Cartwheel, as we say, so that you're drawing a circle, opening the arms, watching that knee. The hips are still open, tailbone down, and the gaze is over that middle finger forward. You can even pull the shoulders down and towards each other to really keep the upper body engaged. And then step back forward again. So the last warrior, warrior three, Virabhdrasana, that's how you say warrior in Sanskrit, is a balancing pose, and it's much more difficult. But coming back to that hip closed of warrior one, that's where we're going to go. So you can do a lot of different things with your arms. I'll show you the traditional version first. So the hips are closed. We're going to press into your right foot. Pull the belly in. That's very important here. You want a strong core. Keep that left foot flexed as you send it back. Keep pulling the belly in. Left foot stays flexed as if you're kicking the wall behind you, and then reach the arms out. So you're forming a T here. A lot of times that left hip wants to pop open. Keep it closed. Point it down towards the mat. Keep the belly in. And then come down. So that's a much more balancing pose. A modification here is to not go as far. So again, you still want that flex in the back foot, so that that leg all the way through the foot is engaged. The belly's still in, and you just wouldn't go as far. Pressing down. So those are the three warriors. I'm going to show you how to get to a downward facing dog now. So let's say you're in your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, in the middle of a flow, and the teacher cues warrior one. So you would lift that right leg up and back, swing it in between your hands, toes forward, back toes rotate out. Reach the arms up, warrior one. So hips are down, arms are strong, belly is in. A lot of times you open up into warrior two from here, so just keep that knee open. Open up. So the knee stays in line as your hips then open. And the gaze is over that right middle finger. Shoulders back, squeezing together. Arms are strong. And then you would come back down and enter the same thing on the opposite side. So another thing in your warriors is the depth that you go down. If you want to take a full warrior, then you would, your knee stays parallel or stays in line with that ankle, but also you want this leg to be parallel to the mat. So you would go really, really deep. That really works the thigh muscles, which helps protect the knees. So that's, you would want to go really deep. Again, a modification is to bring that back foot in and to just not go as far. So coming back to your warrior three, with the hips closed, I'm doing the opposite leg now. I always want to practice on both sides. So the hips are closed. Let's say that the balancing with my arms out is a little hard. You can bring the hands into heart center. You're going to take different variations, even with your arms back behind you. Just try to keep both hips square, or again, closed, so they're pointing down. So there you go. 3 warriors, Virabhdrasana. 1, 2, and 3. They're very different, but really pay attention to the knees, the hips, and of course the feet. That will help you a lot. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.